Okay, here we go. Chapter 5, called The Fairy. That night we had festivities. Festivities is when my grandpa and grandma come over, and all of us eat cake. Grandma Helen Miller made the cake herself. She had put a big smiley face on top. Only that's not all, 'cause the smiley face had a tooth missing, just like me. I laughed and laughed at that silly thing. Then I reached into my pocket, and I got my tooth, and I passed it all around the table. "Oh, that's a beaut, Junie B," said Grandma Miller. "I know, Grandma, I know it is a beaut," I said, real proud. "I can't wait to take it to school for show and tell. The children are going to love this thing." Daddy looked strange at me. "Oh, gee, I don't know, honey," he said. "I'm not really sure you should take your tooth to school." Mother shook her head. "No, Junie B, that's definitely not a good idea," she said. "And besides, you won't even have your tooth on Monday, remember? You have to leave it for the tooth fairy tonight." Just then, my skin got chill bumps again, and the flutterflies came back into my stomach. 'Cause I know stuff about the fairy, that's why. My voice felt kind of shaky. "Yeah, only what if I don't want to leave my tooth for the fairy, Mother?" I said. "What if I just want to take it to show and tell, and that's all?" Mother shook her head again. "No, Junie B, no show and tell," she said. "Taking a tooth to show and tell is just, well, it's just disgusting," said Daddy. "Yes," said Mother, "disgusting." I whined at those two. "No, it isn't. Lots of kids bring teeth to school, 'cause one time Roger brought a shark's tooth, and he even let me and Herb put it right in our mouths. And then we looked like sharks, too." Then I thought some more. "Plus, another time Shirley brought her grandmother's dentures, and lots of us put those in our mouths, too." Grandma Miller did a little gag, only I didn't actually know why. My grandpa patted her head. "Just be glad she doesn't want to take the spit cup," he whispered. Just then my whole face lighted up, 'cause I have ears like a hawk, I tell you. "The spit cup, the spit cup! I will take the spit cup!" I hollered. I jumped down from my chair and I zoomed to the bathroom. Then I got the spit cup out of the trash and I dusted it off real good. "Good news, people!" I shouted real loud. "There's still some blood around the edges." Then I quick ran to show them. Grandma Miller closed her eyes at that sight. Then Mother put her head on the table and hid her face in her arms. The festivities were over, I believe. After Grandma and Grandpa Miller left, Mother took me into the bathroom, and we brushed my teeth real careful. Then I took my loose tooth out of my pocket, and I brushed that guy too. I held it right up to the light. "Look," I said. "Look how shiny I made it. I really wish I could take this tooth to school, Mother. I really, really wish that with all my might." Mother gave me a hug. "I know you do, Junie B," she said, "but it's still going to be fun to put it under your pillow tonight, isn't it?" She smiled. "I remember when I was a little girl. I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and find out how much money the tooth fairy had left me." My skin got prickly at that name again. Also, sweaty came onto my head. I thought and thought about what to do. Then finally I stood on my tippy toes and I whispered in Mother's ear, "Yeah, only here's the stuff about that fairy, Mother. I know the truth." "The truth?" she said. "You know the truth?" "Yes," I whispered again. "I know the exact truth, Mother, 'cause last year Polly Allen Puffer told me the whole entire story." I took another big breath. Then I cupped my hands around her ear and I talked even quieter. "The fairy isn't real," I said. "The tooth fairy is just pretend." Mother's eyes got big and wide at me. "No," she said. "Yes," I whispered back. "Polly Allen learned it from his big brother. The tooth fairy isn't a fairy at all. She's actually a teensy little tooth witch." Mother's mouth came all the way open. "A tooth witch?" "Shh," I said. "We have to talk real soft, Mother. If the tooth witch hears anyone telling her secret, she flies into the room at night and she pinches their cheeks." Mother covered her face with her hands. She was in shock, I believe. "Polly Allen's brother even saw the tooth witch," I said, "'cause one night he put a tooth under his pillow, and when he stayed awake all night, then he saw the tooth witch fly into his room on a teensy little toothbrush." "Oh, my," said Mother. "I know it is, oh, my," I said. "And that is not the worstest part, 'cause the witch walked right under his pillow and carried his tooth out." and then she chomped a big bite out of it, just like it was a little tooth apple. Mother made a noise behind her hands. I patted her very nice. I know how you feel. This is very hard to hear. Finally, Mother took her hands away. But it doesn't really make sense, Junie B., she said. I mean, why would a mean little witch leave money under your pillow? A witch would never do something that nice, would she? I rolled my eyes way up at the ceiling, 'cause sometimes I had to explain everything to that woman. Of course she would, Mother. Don't you get it? The witch leaves money so that children don't think she's a fairy. 'Cause if children don't think she's a fairy, they won't leave their teeth, right? And if they don't leave their teeth, the witch won't get any tooth apples. Mother closed her eyes real tight. Then, all of a sudden, she opened the bathroom door, and she ran right out of the room. She was taking it harder than I thought. Chapter 6, called Full of Soup. That night, Daddy tucked me into bed, and he said that Polly Allen Puffer's brother was full of soup. There's no such thing as a tooth witch, Junie B., he said. I promise you there isn't. Polly Allen Puffer's brother just made that up to scare Polly Allen. And then Polly Allen said it to scare you, too. I shook my head. Daddy, nope. It's not made up. I know it isn't, 'cause a tooth witch makes sense, that's why, I said. She makes way more sense than a fairy. Daddy raised his eyebrows. Why? He asked. Why does a witch make more sense than a fairy? Because, I said. Because a tooth witch likes to chomp the teeth. But the tooth fairy doesn't do anything with the teeth at all, right? So why would she want to pay money? Why would she want to pay money for them? Daddy did a little frown. Well, I don't know exactly, he said. But I'm sure she must do something with the teeth, Junie B. There are other things to do with teeth besides just chomping them, you know. Like what? I asked. Daddy put his head in his hands. Then he thought and thought and thought. After he got done thinking, he went to get Mother. She came into the room carrying Fussy Ollie. She handed him to Daddy and sat down on the bed. Daddy said, you have another problem about the tooth fairy, she said. Yes, 'cause if there's really a fairy, then she has to have a reason to want the teeth, right, Mother? So she wouldn't just throw them in the garbage, 'cause that wouldn't make any sense. Plus, also, it would hurt my feelings. Mother hugged me. No, Junie B., of course she doesn't throw them in the garbage, she said. I'm sure the fairy does something very special with the teeth. Like what? I asked. Mother ran her tired fingers through her hair. She stood up and walked back and forth on my rug. Then all of a sudden, her face got brighter. I know. I bet the fairy uses the teeth to make jewelry, she said. At first, Daddy and I didn't say any words. We just stared and stared at that woman. Jewelry? I finally asked. Mother said, well, yes, of course, she said. She probably uses the teeth to make little tooth necklaces and bracelets and cute little toe rings. How does that sound? I made a sick face. It sounds repulsive, said Daddy. Mother stopped smiling. She quick took Ollie back from Daddy and she hurried out of my room. After she left, Daddy finished tucking me in bed. I'm sorry about that, Junie B., he said. I'm afraid Ollie has your mother worn to a frazzle these days. But I'm sure she's not right about that jewelry thing. Ooh, he did a shiver. No, certainly she's not, he said. Then, before I could ask any more questions about the fairy, he kissed me goodnight and he rushed out of my room as fast as Mother. That night, I did not put my tooth under my pillow. Also, I did not put it under there the night after that or the night after that. Because what do you know? The fairy still did not make sense. Let's see. Do you think the tooth fairy's going to come? Do you think she's going to put the tooth under the pillow? Do you think she's going to get some money? What does a tooth fairy do with those teeth? Let's see if we can find out. Stay tuned.